AJ Styles is officially traded to SmackDown. I think that's great. I have always felt like AJ Styles is a SmackDown guy, but the question is, who got traded to Monday Night Raw? Is AJ Styles traded for a dog? I've heard Vince McMahon loves puppies. Jerry loves them too. The greatest wrestling match ever. Yes, it's ridiculous, but people are acting funny. You mean to tell me WWE are advertising their own match? Exactly. I'm canceling my WWE network. Well, next time I am. Maybe. But it's ridiculous when they start advertising every match as the greatest wrestling match ever, because on every graphic it says the greatest wrestling match ever. It has Braun Strowman in the picture. It is not gonna be the greatest match ever. Ever. But people, please stop taking wrestling so seriously. Let Charlie dream. All jokes aside, man, I quickly want to talk about Chad. And I'm not good at this, but thoughts and prayers to his family. This is absolutely horrible. And the last thing that this man did is one of the most selfless acts I have ever seen. He's a perfect example for every father and even men in general. What a great human being. You will be missed by so many people. Rest in peace. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Greatness of SmackDown. I'll admit, that was a very important episode. We got a WrestleMania rematch, we got a big match in the main event, we got story development, tournament, and Universal Championship match announced. I wouldn't say that it was super entertaining or anything like that, but I think it's one of the most important SmackDown episodes we have seen in a while. The show kicked off with the dirt sheet, The Miz and John Morrison. They're talking about Braun Strowman, how Braun Strowman is rejected by Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt chose puppets over Braun Strowman. They also showed a bunch of puppets that got rejected but are still better than Braun Strowman. That wasn't really funny, I'll admit, but maybe that's the whole point. That's their character. We also got a parody of Mandy Rose. Obviously Braun Strowman is not happy about this, so he interrupted Miz and Morrison, but surprisingly, he says he loves the show. Miz and Morrison are nervous, they have a reason to be. Braun Strowman mentions Bray Wyatt and The Miz gets angry. The Miz had to deal with Bray Wyatt and he says that Bray Wyatt is definitely not finished with you. The Miz doesn't really want to fight, but John Morrison suggests The Miz versus Braun Strowman match. That was actually pretty hilarious. The Miz is trying so hard not to be in this match, but John Morrison says, you got this, and you're going to get your ass kicked by The Miz. The Miz doesn't really look that confident, and he's pretty mad at John Morrison. Braun Strowman says that the only thing you're going to get right now is these hands. So we got Braun Strowman versus The Miz, obviously a very one-sided match because it's The Miz versus Braun Strowman, a big, tall guy, just the way Vince loves it. Obviously, Braun Strowman wins the match, and after the match, John Morrison got angry and challenges Braun Strowman to a handicap match for the WWE Universal Championship at Backlash. Braun Strowman accepts. First of all, this is probably leading towards The Miz versus John Morrison. They're already arguing, the reason why they lost the tag team championships is The Miz, and now John Morrison is being, he's acting weird. Why would you push your friend into a match against Braun Strowman? Maybe it's not the case, but I'm pretty sure one way or another, these two are going to split. Whether it's next week at Backlash or in a few months. So I believe all of this is going to be put in this video package. And the match, man, a handicap match for the WWE Championship. I mean, yes, we've already seen a singles match for the tag team championships, which doesn't make any sense. And I don't mind it really, whatever. But the thing is, I know it's already predictable. Braun Strowman is not gonna lose against The Miz. Braun Strowman is not gonna lose against John Morrison. I don't really want to see that match because now it's way too obvious. Like, it's the most obvious match you can imagine. We're not gonna see The Miz and John Morrison as dual WWE Universal Champions. It is not gonna happen. But people, then we got the Intercontinental Title Tournament match. AJ Styles versus Schinsky Nakamura, a WrestleMania rematch. Now, I know a lot of people are very excited about this. I've seen Twitter basically exploding, and popular opinion, I am not. AJ Styles is one of my favorite WWE wrestlers of all time. Shinsuke Nakamura is fine, he was very good in New Japan. But the thing is, I hated the WrestleMania match. It's one of the worst WrestleMania matches in a way that people got so excited about it, but it didn't deliver, and maybe it was overhyped, expectations were way too high, but this match was, I wouldn't say it was horrible, but it was pretty bad. It had no crowd reaction, nothing. I remember people tweeting on Twitter, is it me or is this match pretty bad? It was bad. But it was still a pretty decent match. It's a WrestleMania rematch. It's a big deal. These two have history. But of course, AJ Styles wins again. And like I've said, he's officially a part of SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built. So obviously, if you trade AJ Styles to SmackDown from Monday Night Raw, he's a big name. So that means someone from SmackDown is going to Raw. And they didn't announce it yet. They just said for future consideration, I think. I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns is returning to WWE on Monday Night Raw. Since Becky Lynch left, now they need this big name. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be Roman Reigns. And I kinda like Roman Reigns being on Raw a bit more. Roman Reigns is the face of the company, Raw is the flagship show, and I think AJ Styles needs to turn face again and be kind of the face of SmackDown for a while. Bayley asks Sasha Banks not to be at ringside during her match against Charlotte. She wants to do it on her own. So we got Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. That was a pretty decent match, I'm not that excited about Charlotte Flair. I don't know why she has to be on every single show. She's not that big of a deal, WWE, come on. But Bayley wins the match with the roll-up. This makes me think that WWE are about to merge the titles. I really hope it's not the case, but because Becky left, they don't have a big women's roster. Not a lot of legit women in the WWE at the moment. And it makes me believe that some championships are going to get merged. And I really don't want to see that. Not again. Come on, just commit to the brand split for once. Then we got Sonia Deville and Dolph Ziggler versus Mandy Rose and Otis. That is a pretty big match because this is a one long storyline. And this match was pretty alright. And just like expected, Sonia Deville and Dolph Ziggler picked up the W. After the bell, we also got a super kick, so these two are dominant. Not sure if the storyline is over. I'm wondering if Dolph Ziggler is the one that is going to take the Money in the Bank briefcase from Otis. Like I've said many times before, kick in the nuts by Mandy and Dolph Ziggler wins the briefcase. That is a perfect scenario. But, I don't really think that WWE want to give the briefcase to Dolph Ziggler in 2020. I don't think that's the case. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, another Intercontinental title tournament match, and that was very fun. This is a big rivalry right now. For the majority of the match, Sheamus was dominant. Again, like I've said, he's treated as a big guy right now, even more than before. There's this weird thing in the WWE, when a superstar is a part of a tag team all of a sudden, he's not as strong. When he's not in a tag team anymore, he becomes stronger. So that was a pretty fun match, but obviously like expected, Jeff Hardy wins the match, and like expected, with a pin out of nowhere. He's going to meet Daniel Bryan in the semifinals, and Sheamus is not happy with the loss. It really sounds like a very short episode of SmackDown. It wasn't that short, the matches were pretty long. I love this tournament. It makes the Intercontinental Championship look a bit more prestigious, and maybe that's what the championship needed. A tournament. I wish they did tournaments when we don't have a championship vacated. A number one contenders match. We have a bunch of superstars, the winner faces the champion. Why is that never happening in the WWE? So right now we are going to get AJ Styles versus Elias and Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. A couple of possibilities. We're probably getting Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. I don't see Elias advancing. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan is interesting. But I would rather see Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles because we never seen that match in the WWE. We already seen Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. We actually saw that a bunch of times. It was a big rivalry back in 2018. So I hope we're getting Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles. That is an absolute dream match. And so far, Backlash is looking good. I'm excited for Randy Orton versus Edge. I'm sure it's going to be a good match. Something tells me not the greatest wrestling match, but I think it's still going to be pretty good. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, I think is going to surprise us. The way Bobby Lashley is treated makes you forget that he's actually a pretty good wrestler. Braun Strowman versus John Morrison and The Miz is going to be predictable, yet I think entertaining since John Morrison is in this match, and we're going to see a bunch of weird spots between Morrison and Strowman, and we might even see the breakup of The Miz and John Morrison. It doesn't really look like a bad pay-per-view, and I'm kinda excited. Thank you for watching the video. If you want to support the channel, make sure to click that like button, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, patreon.com/TheGreatOneYT. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.